A college student returns home for the weekend, his mind heavy with the usual frustrations. The moment he steps into the house, he's reminded of the reason he left in the first place: his mother's new husband. The student has always had a deep-seated disdain for the men his mother brings home, and this new stepfather is no exception. The man seems too polished, too controlled, and something about him feels off. His mother has a history of falling for the wrong men, guys who charm their way into her life only to leave a mess behind. So when she introduced this latest husband, the student was skeptical, as always. His instincts told him to keep his distance, but curiosity and concern for his mother pulled him in a different direction. Alone in the house, he decides to snoop through his new stepfather's things. Maybe he'll find some dirt, some evidence that this man isn't who he claims to be. In his mother's room, he rummages through drawers and closets, finding little more than the typical belongings. But when he enters the locked study, a room his stepfather keeps off limits, the atmosphere changes. Inside the study, the student finds everything unnervingly clean and organized, almost sterile. The room has a heavy, soundproof door that always made him uneasy. On one wall, there's a large, antique wardrobe. With his heart pounding, he opens it, half expecting to find something mundane. But instead he discovers a narrow staircase leading down to a hidden basement. The basement is cold, clinical, like a dungeon. The concrete walls are bare, and the only light comes from a single bulb swinging from the ceiling. The air is thick with unease as the student descends the stairs, his stomach churning with fear and adrenaline. At the center of the room, his mother sits calmly on a chair, as if waiting for him. She looks at him with a strange mixture of sorrow and resolve. The student stumbles forward, panicking, thinking his mother is in danger. "Mom, we need to get out of here. This guy, he's not who you think he is." But his mother doesn't move. Instead, she reveals a truth that shatters everything he thought he knew. She knows exactly who her new husband is. In fact, she's known from the very beginning. She didn't fall for him by accident. She sought him out deliberately. Her past is steeped in darkness. She was once part of an underground network that hunts down men like him, men with histories of preying on vulnerable women. The newspaper clippings and notes the student found weren't trophies from his stepfather. They were tools his mother meticulously gathered to manipulate and control him. She's been playing a long, dangerous game, ensuring this man could never escape his past or her grasp. The student reels from the revelation. His mother, who he thought was naive and vulnerable, is far more complex and dangerous than he ever imagined. She wasn't a victim of bad choices. She was the mastermind all along. Her marriage to this man was a trap, one she set to deliver justice in her own twisted way. But there's a darker implication. As she speaks, the student begins to question whether this darkness is a part of him too. Has his life been shaped by the same shadowy forces that drove his mother? Is he destined to follow in her footsteps? The story ends with the student staring at his mother, her once familiar face now a mask of cold, calculating darkness. The truth twists like a knife, unraveling his sense of self. In her eyes, he sees a reflection of something sinister, something that has always been there, waiting to claim him too.